Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. For those who don't know me, if you're not subscribed yet, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Welcome to another Adulting 101 video. I'll try to remember to link my last two down below. Last time you guys were requesting more videos about like how to build your start and build your credit, so that's why we're here today, and that's why you clicked on this video, because you saw the title, right? So anyways, don't need this to be a long intro, so let's jump right in. I'm gonna be looking down at my phone just because I have some notes. Gotta unlock it. I have some notes on here, so I'm gonna kind of speed through this video just because I don't want it to be a long video. And then also just a disclaimer, I am not a credit specialist or a credit advisor, or I'm not professional in this subject. These are just some tips that work for me, and I do work in banking, so I know a little bit about credit, but I don't work in the actual credit department. So just some things that I learned over time. So I have 5 tips for building your credit. So tip number 1, it might seem simple to some, but tip number 1 is to get a credit card. Some people don't know even where to start with that. So there's so many types of different credit cards. There is American Express, there's college cards, there's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Capital One. There's so many different types of credit cards out there. So for me personally, I find it more beneficial if you go into an actual bank and apply for a credit card, at least for your very first one, just because you don't even really know what you're getting yourself into. So you'll be able to actually directly look at a person, talk to a person, ask as many questions as you want. And also just remember, like, the bankers who apply you for the credit cards are not the ones who make the decisions on how much you get and all that kind of stuff. They simply just do the application for you. They're there to answer some questions, but it's a whole separate department who actually makes the decision of whether you get approved or not and how much you get approved for if you do. So yes, there's so many different types, so just best bet is to go to the bank and ask them any question you want and see which one fits you best. So number 2, when you do get your credit card, try to stay within 30 to 50% of your credit limit. It's okay if you do go over, it's just that's best practice to keep building your credit. Credit lenders, is a game with them, honestly. It's like they like to see you borrowing the money and paying it back, maybe leaving a little bit of a balance on there but showing that you can pay it back in due time, paying it off completely sometimes leaving a little bit. They want to see basically you using your credit. They don't want to see you maxing it out per se. If you do max it out, it's not the end of the world. Your credit is not gonna go from 800 to 350. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Also, credit scores range between 350 to 850. So yes, I meant to mention that in the beginning, but I just forgot. So yeah, that's what credit scores ranges from, with 350 being the lowest, 850 being the highest. There is 3 main credit bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and there's one more, but I can't remember right now. But yes, there are a few major credit bureaus out there, and those are what is used to determine your credit. There's so many things that go into determining your credit, which we'll get into a little bit later. So yeah, so for example, for the 30 to 50% range, if they give you a credit card for $1,000, you want to try to stay in between $300 to $500. Like I said, it's not that in the world if you do go over, but it's just by playing the game, you know, and then making sure you're paying it back. Not saying you have to pay it back in full all the time. They do give you a minimum payment, which we'll go into next, I believe, or in a few. But anyways, yes, stay within that limit, that range. If you do go over, something in the world. If you go under, something in the world. Like, it's just play the game. So number 3, never go over your credit limit. So like I mentioned in the last one, it's okay if you go over your 50% range or 30% range. It's okay, but try not to max out your credit card and go over your limit. So meaning, if they give you a credit card for $1,000, don't keep trying to swipe it if you're about to be at $1,000 already. You know, like, I don't understand people do that sometimes. When I'm working and I'm looking at people's profiles, I get a little confused myself. But yeah, just don't. It's just not good. It's not good for your credit at all. That will definitely damage your credit. Okay, so the last few things that's kind of helping build your credit. But now, if you're going over your limit consistently and just maxing it out, that will bring your credit score down. So yes, make sure you're not going over your credit limits. If you're not paying your card off right away, they're going to charge interest, which is fine. Interest is not bad. However, you don't want it to end up charging too much interest and it's forcing you to go over your limit now. So that brings me to my next thing is number 4, never miss a payment. Tip number 4, never miss a payment. So basically meaning your due date's on the 1st, pay it on the 1st or even before the 1st, you know. You generally get your statement about the 7th day of like your statement cycle, and you have about 21 days to pay it. Sometimes it depends on your bank and what card it is, but the generic is 21 to 23 days to pay it once you get your statement. You can get your statements online, in the mail, by phone, however you choose when opening your credit card account. But when you get that statement, you have that time allowed to pay your credit card. So never miss a payment. That will also damage your credit score pretty severely if you miss a payment. Even if it's just one, you can see your credit score decline by a lot. So, and we always are aiming for higher credit scores. And my last tip, number 5, is pay more than the minimum. So basically, they might give you might have spent $300 on your credit card and they're only saying you technically have to pay $35 back right now. However, if you can afford more than that minimum payment, I advise you to pay it, or even trying to pay it off, because it just looks good. It helps to build your credit and things like that. It won't damage your credit by only paying the minimum. However, it won't build it either. It's kind of going to stay at that same. I mean, it'll help it in a sense of you're not being late on it, but it's kind of just going to be right here hovering over, you know, that line of staying the same, going up just a tad, staying the same, and it's going to keep going like that. So if you can pay more, I definitely advise you guys to pay more on your credit cards. So those are pretty much all my tips on how to start building your credit and how to get your credit score up, and keep it from going down. Credit is used for so many different things in life. When you're buying a car, you're buying a house, when you're moving into an apartment, like moving into a house, like credit is such an essential. Even if you have all the money in the world, good credit is still something you need to have. Just living in America, at least, I don't know about all the other countries, but at least living in America, is essential to have good credit, and it's just gonna how you're gonna be able to thrive and buy the finer things in life. You know, if you can't pay cash out of pocket for it and things like that, like, you know, your everyday girl over here. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any more questions, concerns, comments, or anything like that. Remember, I am not an expert on this topic. I was just giving you guys some of my tips and tricks that have worked for me. I don't have a perfect credit score, but I do have a pretty decent credit score, if I don't say so myself. So yes, just those are some tips to get you going. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at ReneeCW13, and also on my Snapchat at ReneeCW2013. It's always linked down in the description box. If you guys like this hair, you can get this from RoyalCreations.com. This is their Brazilian natural wave, and I am loving it. So yes, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.